How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews back with a little bit of new brewery time up in this piece in the form of Non-Sequitur Brewery Project. Beer Project? Brew Project? Beer Project. How do you build a table beer? This is, like I said, new brewery time. Heard of these guys, never had anything from them before. This comes courtesy of my boy Kyle from Brooklyn. These guys brew their beers out of Keg and Lantern, which I've heard of too. I've never had anything from those guys either. For Non-Sequitur beer in Brooklyn, New York. Yeah. And on the side here it says, who do you call when you want to build a table beer? Only the masters from Wild East, of course. We teamed up on this spelt table beer to make it in our own. Hopped it exclusively with South African Southern Passion. Delicate and tiny. Share with your friends. And while summer is still here. So it has a little bit of time on it, I assume. It says, well, summer is still here. I don't see a date in the can, but, I mean, you know, August, September-ish, give or take, I would assume. But you're talking about a table beer, even though it is kind of hopped up. Being a tiny beer, being a little itty-bitty beer, being a bit of a delicate beer. Or I shouldn't say delicate, just small. We'll see. Hopefully it holds up. Looks all the part of a table beer. Label is probably one of my favorite labels I've seen in quite some time. It's these kind of kooky little drawings about building a table, but kind of, I don't know, not really building a table. I don't know. Something about it is infinitely cute, so I dig it. As far as the beer goes, I mean, that's what a table beer looks like. You're talking about the soft kind of straw color. Soft haze on it too. I mean, white as white could be head that's crumbling down on top of it itself. It just looks all the part of a classic kind of Belgian style table beer through and through. Yeah, coming in at a whopping 4%, as table beer should. That's probably a little bit high for a table beer, to be perfectly honest with you. We'll see what's what. Let's get a nose. I mean, there's this melon, peach fuzzy melon characteristic to the way the beer comes off. A soft little it's not a saison yeast on it. It's not a truly like a Belgian style yeast on it. But there's something to it. It's almost like a soft Brett kind of characteristic to it. It's not Brett. That's not what it's coming off, but it has this kind of hay kind of thing without getting too funky, too kind of Brett-like on it. But then you get that soft melon leaning, heavily melon leaning kind of a fruitiness from it. That could be a little bit from hops, could be a little bit from the actual yeast characteristic, could be a little bit from both, but it smells nice. It smells like a nice drinkable, what you'd want to drink during a nice kind of dinner party kind of thing. Chugger, crusher, what other adjectives can we throw out there? But something outside of your Pilsner lager kind of thing. That's where this separates itself. It doesn't come off that crisp, clean kind of crispy boy kind of thing. It comes off a little bit softer, a little bit more rounded. Let's just dive in. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, and that's the way it tastes. There's a little zip of tartness on it. A little zip of tartness. I assume you're getting that from the yeast in there. A grainy maltiness to it. By grainy, I don't mean texturally. I mean like grain, not like a wheat characteristic or even like an oaty characteristic. Just like a regular kind of that mixture of a base grain with that little bit of kind of spelt in there to kind of beef it up and give a little bit of kind of like I don't want to say like granola kind of graininess, but I want you to think that way. When you think about the grain, you think about it more of a non-overly roasted kind of just cooked enough kind of graininess to it. Nice soft mouthfeel for the beer style. It's not going to be confused with the water nerdy oated New England style IPA, but it does have this nice soft drinkability to it. So it's nice. A little bit sweet. Not a ton of bittering there outside of just a base generic kind of bittering, which helps kind of balance it all off. And you get that little bit of tartness in there, which I believe you're getting from that yeast, whatever yeast they ended up using in it. I think it's fun. I think it's a tasty little beer. Is it the best table beer I've ever had in my life? No. But to get, a little 4% table beer from a brewery I've never had before, and to get something like this out of a can, it's pretty damn tasty. I like it. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's not an overly complicated beer. Table beers can be from time to time, but it has all the characteristics, what you want from, I would say, a Belgian influence, American born kind of table beer, because it lacks a little bit of those classic kind of Belgian yeast characteristics that you would kind of attribute to a true table beer. But you get enough in there to let you know you're drinking like kind of with these I don't know how to explain it. You think I would. This beer feels like it was drawn up in conversation, not on an Excel sheet, or you know what I mean. It has a bit of a kind of organic kind of cooks in the kitchen kind of thing, as opposed to reading a recipe. Maybe that's a little bit too, what do they call that, esoteric, but that's how the beer kind of comes off for me, and it's probably the tastiest portion of the show here, is that it feels like it's just, table beers always taste like beers made with love for me, and this one is no different. So let's just talk about it. This is one of the better table beers I've had as of late. Like I said, it's not the best I've ever had, but it's worthy of being in a conversation. Value and availability, no idea. Kyle, let me know what's what and leave you with it if you like what we like this. If you like Belgian table beers, but you want something a little less Belgian-y in the yeast characteristic, because that's where this one kind of lands. I don't think that's an overt negative. I like mine to skew a bit traditional, but it's a tasty beer nonetheless. And like I said, this probably has, 4, 5, 6 months on it, being that they say drink it before summer's over, and we're already in January pushing February 2021. So held up pretty damn well. So if you like little crushers that are on the lager tip that hold up well on what I assume is a shelf, this does not suck. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff, Beer Massive. And if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a little non-sequitur right now. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers.